leaders. Similarly, there is one God and he has many angels below him, and somebody may ask, why does God need so many below him? He is capable of doing everything himself. But why God has so many angels below him? Because they are eager to connect with him in love through service. So he gives them opportunity. Like for example, in any country there is an electricity department, there is a water department, there is a fire department, there is an education department. Like this, God has allotted different departmental services to different angels. They are also called as gods, but they are small g. And above all of them is capital G-O-D. And that God is called as Krishna, we call him, because the meaning of the word Krish means to attract, Na means to bestow happiness. So he attracts and gives happiness by playing on his flute, by playing with his devotees. He is not a God who is just standing and then people have to salute him and bow down to him. If they don't, he will punish them. It's not like that. He becomes like one of them. Just like you have your relationship with your mother, father, brother, sister in a family. The Lord becomes, he doesn't play God, although he is God. So that is Krishna. But then there is another role he takes, what is called Vishnu. Like the president is in the home, the same president is in the parliament. But he has two different moods. At home he is more friendly and informal. In the parliament house he is very formal and receives respect from everybody, isn't it? So that is why there are so many names. We have Krishna, we have Vishnu, we have Ram. Now Ram is in between Vishnu and Krishna. All three are only one person, like triple acting. Like for example yourself, you are a student in a college. So you go to college in a certain formal dress. When you are at home or in some party with the friends, you wear different type of dress. And your behavior also is different. In the same manner, God plays a serious role in the parliament, which is Vaikuntha, we call it. And God plays a very informal and playful role at his own home, which is called Goloka. So that is why sometimes you wonder, why Krishna, Vishnu, Ram, so many names. And also, each of us here, based on our mood, we want God to be a certain type of person. Here also you ask these people, how many of you want God to be a man of high character? He marries only one wife and he is very truthful man, he never speaks lies and he is a capable leader, he offers protection. There are many people who will raise the hand. For them he appears as Ram. And for those who want to see him as naughty, playful, mischievous, stealing butter from somebody's home, there are other people who will raise a hand for that. So for their sake, he appears as Krishna. So, which means, Lord appears in these forms to please the devotees, attract the devotees, and then bring them back to Godhead. That is his goal. Is it clear? Yeah. Now, when you hear about 33 crore devatas, they are all like angels. They are all doing different services for the pleasure of God. Somebody is controlling the rain shower, somebody is controlling the heat of the sun, somebody is controlling the education department, Saraswati, like that. So sometimes people misunderstand that there are plenty of gods. There are not plenty of gods, there is only one God. Is it clear? Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else?
So she is going to start chanting from today. So I request everyone on Vaishnav and Prabhuji to please bless that.
You are on Haribol. Thank you for coming to our temple.
So my question is that we know that Dhruv Maharaj faced the turmoil in his life and he became determined to attain God.
Yeah.
But when we face turmoils in our life, it happens other way around. We go away from Krishna and we get succumbed to breakdowns emotionally.
Yeah.
So how to become determined in life? That's my question.
We have to increase our piety, Prabhupada says, because when the more and more a living entity becomes pious, when they are crushed by situations, they run to the lotus feet of God. And when we are not increasing our piety, then we tend to run away from God due to lack of trust and due to wanting to take the situation in our own hands. and solve it. Like Arjuna, for example. In the beginning of the battle, Arjuna was taking the charge of everything in his own hands. He told Krishna, take me between the two armies and I want to supervise. Senyor Ubyor Madhya Ratam Stapayame Achyuta Yavadita Nirikshekam Yudh Kaman Avasitan, he said, which means he didn't depend on Krishna. He depended on his own mind. And therefore he cried. And then when he cried, at that time he gave reasoning why he doesn't want to fight. They were all dharmic reasons. He gave reasons. But after giving reasons also, he was still crying. He understood that his reasoning is not very valuable. Then he surrendered to Krishna in 2.7 Bhagavad Gita. Then Krishna took charge and then he gave. Similarly, what generally living beings do in this world, they try to sort out problem on their own. And if it doesn't happen, they go to God and request Him to sort out the problem. But while God is sorting out problem, if they are not satisfied with His speed at which He is sorting out problem, then they again take the problem on themselves and tell God that you are too slow, so let me figure out myself. Then they go and sort out on their own also. Or they go to many Babajis, they do many different kinds of things. So one of the things in the Bhagavatam that emphasizes is God knows best. One should be convinced about this. Like there was a man passing in the forest way. He was lying under a tree. He looked at a pumpkin creeper. He said, such a small creeper, big fruit, and such a big banyan tree, small fruit. God must be crazy, he said. But when he slept, when one fruit fell on his forehead, and he jumped up from his sleep and it made a bump on his head. Then he looked in the mirror and said, you imagine if this pumpkin was on a big tree, my head would be broken to pieces. So then he said, God knows best. So many times we judge situations and think I can solve it myself. But when we convince ourselves that God knows best, then we are ready to wait patiently for Him to. Like sometimes we go to a doctor, we take medicine. If it doesn't get cured in a week, then we go to second doctor. Then we go to third doctor. And the medicines are all lying in the cupboard. We don't take it. So to be a good patient also, we have to have patience. And if we don't have patience, we hop and jump to different doctors and we don't get cured. So God says that, have trust in me, depend on me, chant my names, and I know what is good for you. So he tells us like that. And also, when the anxieties come in our life, they put us into a state of turmoil. They agitate us. So like a boat in the middle of Atlantic that gets carried away. So we have to anchor ourselves to the shore with anchor. That anchoring happens when we are chanting, when we are associating, when we are coming to the temple. These are all punya activities, spiritual punya. When these activities increase more and more, then we will run to Lord's lotus feet only. Like a child, for example, if mother is seeing child is touching fire or picking knife, she gives a slap to the child. Child will not run away from the mother. Child will cry but go to the mother. And that's what, in our life also, whenever the situations are extremely creating turmoil, one should think that I have nowhere else to go other than the Lord. And He knows best. And He will do what is good for me, even though the situation is not rectified instantly. It may take a while. And why He is not rectifying instantly, there is a reason for that. Because He wants us to purify also ourselves. And that's why He doesn't give instant solution. Because if we get instant solution, then we will maintain our old tendencies. But if we leave some time period for that problem to persist, then we learn good lessons from it. One example let me give you. Say, we should not eat junk food. How many of you know that? It's not good for us. We all know that. That doesn't mean we are going to give up very easily. Correct, no? We persist. But now, if we go to a doctor, initially doctor says you will get obese if you eat junk food. We think it's all right, it's not that all that bad. I can always go for jogging and I can make myself better. But sometimes we overeat junk food and the result is, then doctor says, even your breathing is difficult sometimes. Body becomes very heavy. And the doctor says, now if you don't stop it, it's going to cause increase in cholesterol, increase in this and all that he says. Your weight, body weight is increasing. So then when it becomes a life threat, then we give up. Correct? So therefore, although the salads are not very tasty, when it comes to threat, then we follow. Similarly, when it comes to difficulties in our life, when Lord allows the difficulties to persist, that's a purification period for us. Like say I got wounded in my knee, doctor has put the medicine. It doesn't cure immediately. It takes a week. But during the time, instead of thinking about it, I can think about doing something constructive. Take my attention away from it. Correct? And thank you. Anybody else? Yeah. Mike is coming to you. Yeah.
Prabhuji, in case of Dhruv Maharaj,
Yeah.
he was angry, he had some he wanted to passionate.
Yeah.
In the practical life, when this situation comes, when the wrath comes, when the anger comes, we can have some negative thoughts.
Yes.
Now, Dhruv Maharaj had his mother, who was able to inculcate, but sometimes we don't have anybody at that time. And these negative thoughts keep on multiplying infinitely, and then even if we know some person from 6-7 years, and with that small negative thought, we think, oh, that's so he did this thing 2 years back, and then it keeps on
Multiplying, magnifying.
At that situation, how to stop that, how to control that mind?
Yeah. Many things you can do. There are many things you can do. Like for example, there are two devotees. They are working in the same department. So because of that particular instance, this negativity comes. Then actually you can, out of sight, out of mind, then you can change the service. He goes to another department, where you will not have to encounter him daily. So you don't have to encounter him. That's one thing you can do. Out of sight, out of mind. That's one thing you can do. Second thing is, as soon as mind starts multiplying, immediately one should know that I should not give idle time to the mind to multiply. We should, well-planned activities should be written down and we should take it up. Because once you become preoccupied with some busy activities, mind also starts planning. That today we are going for book distribution, we are going for Harinam Sankirtan, we are going for preaching, things like this. Then, instead of preoccupation in negativity, mind becomes preoccupied by busy services due to there is no other alternative. Or you take Bhakti Shastri. Like, my sister was telling, she took up Bhakti Vaibhava. It was too heavy for her, along with her raising her 2 kids and along with temple services. So she gave it up for a month. Then she said, when I don't do Bhakti Vaibhava, then my contemplation becomes replaced with problem solving. This kind of. Then she again took it up. Because she said, when I took Bhakti Vaibhava, day in and day out the thoughts of Prithu Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, this is going on in the head. I tried the assignments, everything. Therefore, idle man's mind is a level soksha. So don't give free time to the mind because it is going to munch on negative food. So don't give that. So this is the second thing. What's the first thing I said? Out of sight, out of mind. Second thing, don't give negative food. And also, the third thing we can do, we are understanding that the whole negativity is overpowering us. Correct? No? So we can take some stotrams like, Mukundamala, or Gajendra Moksha, or Akrur. So there are people who early morning they put on the prayers and you hear that recitation. Repeatedly then many of these slokas get imprinted in the mind. Yakkaschane shovalinanta koragan prachanda vegada vidhavato brisham Dhitam prapannam paripadiyad bhayat mrityu pradhavatyaranam tamimahi na vidyate yasya cha janma karma va na nama rupe guna dosha yeva va tatapi lokapyaya sambhavayaya swamaya yatan anukalam richhati tasmai namah pareshaya brahmane nanta shaktaye Arupaya Rupaya Nama Ashcharya Karmine. So when there was one boy studying in NIT Rourkela. So he picked me up from the airport to take me. While driving, he was reciting the whole Gajendra Moksha. And I asked him, my Lord, how did you memorize it? Prabhuji, from your lectures only, he said. Even I have not memorized it. Actually, I see and recite the whole Gajendra Moksha in the beginning of my daily 7 lectures I had given. So he heard that he liked it so much. In the early morning hours, he was hearing it daily. He said, Prabhuji, I never saw the prayers, he said. I only heard. He heard for 2 months, he heard daily. He said, now I know by heart, by hearing. This is a Vedic way of learning.
You recite for Krishna.
This is for the COVID time I did. That time I did daily.
Full, it's right?
Full. I recite it and then I speak it. So he said I put it on repeatedly hearing. Now after singing I got inspired. I also want to memorize now. Because when we memorize, we have some very good food for munching. And along with that, if you know the word-to-word meaning, then connecting the shloka along with the meaning, it gives very good meditation for us. Then these are positive inputs which can drive out negative inputs. Right? And we need it. Some of the devotees find it difficult to memorize shlokas, so they can memorize Vaishnava songs. Like there is one very favorite Vaishnava song for me. Mama Manama Dire Rahanishi Krishna Murari Sri Krishna Murari. So like this song, you take some 4 or 5 favorite songs. I have one Vaishnava song booklet I have, thin book. Somebody asked me, Prabhuji, why your book is so thin? Generally Vaishnava books are big. I said all the best songs I like, I have made a book for myself. I took out those songs, cut and paste, and put them in a booklet. It's a thin book. So about 50 songs I have. Only that I'm going to memorize, because our lifetime is not enough to memorize all the songs. But some 50 songs I have taken out. So I keep reading them, reciting them. Now many of the songs I can sing without even seeing. When I'm giving a lecture, I just sing a song. I don't have to see it also, because I memorized it. So memorizing Vaishnava songs is another powerful way of absorption. Because Vaishnava songs are even like simple Hindi. He says, Ye khona bujinu Prabhu. That song he says, Amitava nitya dasa janinu evara amara palana bhara ye kona tumara bado dukha paiyachi swatantra jivane dukha dore gelo oparavarane. So memorize this type of lines. Simple meaning, but the singing this devotionally while going, coming, and then along with the awareness of the meaning, we can increase our samadhi in the remembrance of Lord, our position in relation to Him, and very easily can drive out negativity by this. This is a positive spiritual absorption. Correct now? And another thing is the pastimes of the Lord, which we have been reading, hearing. What are some of the pastimes that deeply touch you? You have to find out which pastimes of Krishna. Like for me, one of the most favorite pastimes is Krishna Balaram jumping off from Pravarsan mountain. I've spoken it many times. So here when I came once, I had spoken on stunning pastimes of running Krishna. We had once, 3 pastimes we had. Which are the pastimes where Krishna could not be caught, and which pastime in which Krishna was caught? Who knows? Kalyavana could not catch Krishna. Who is the other fellow who ran? No, who couldn't catch him? Jarasandha couldn't catch him. But who caught him? So now when you remember this pastime, mind keeps on, Yashoda could catch, these 2 fellows couldn't catch. What is the reason? Because the reasons are given in the Bhagavad. So then our contemplation gets into a spiritual contemplation. Correct, no? Like today morning I spoke on 3 pastimes. I told about 3 people who are talking about seeing the lotus feet of the Lord. One is Dhruva, one is Kunti, one is Gajendra. Correct? Now, early morning when I got up, while bathing, this thought came in my mind. When I was bathing, I was thinking about Gajendra, what he said about seeing the Lord, what Kunti said, what Dhruva said. And then when I was speaking the Japata, that developed into a particular, So we have to think about what we have studied. So there are 6 steps process it is. First is Shravana, here. And second is Manana. recollect. First you write in the notebook, see and recollect, then you close the notebook and recollect. That is better than seeing. They say in the Japanese, one of the secrets, Elon Musk only says that. He says the Japanese secret of memorizing, how they memorize is they don't see the notes. Without seeing notes, when you stretch the brain to get the information, that is the time you grow. He says, you become a better version of yourself. That means ability to retain increases when you stretch the mind to recollect. Whenever I finish a class, I ask them, any takeaway? Immediately people open the notebook. I should tell them, see, then notebook will go back to Godhead. So you have to recollect. So Shravana, then the Manana. And the third stage is contemplation. Contemplation means, okay, now I can recollect what I heard, but understanding the meaning. What it exactly means. For understanding it, one has to analyze. Why only like this? Why not like this? And the comparison, contrast, analyzing. When you do, then the contemplation happens. And the fourth stage is reflection. Reflection means how is it pertinent to my life? How is it relevant to my life? Like Ajamila, for example, first he contemplated on the Vishnu Dutta's glorification of holy name. Then he talked about his own flashback from his life. That is reflection. Right now. That's a fourth step. And then the fifth one is making a plan of action. Like Ajamila made a plan of action to go to Haridwar. For 12 years he practiced. He made a plan of action and executing the plan of action. That is the fifth step. Because when you apply, then realizations arise. When we don't apply, it remains only theory or understanding. And the last step is speaking it to 3 people. Catch 3 people visiting temple and tell them. Tell them that today I read one prayer from Vijayendra, or I read from Kunti. And then there are many people who are grateful if you tell them, I have done it. Newcomer, somebody comes, you call them, hey, would you like to hear something? They say, thank you. I thought nobody will talk to me. You call and tell, and that way you benefit more than him. Because when you repeat to 3 people, it becomes your asset, permanent asset for you. What are the 6 steps? First one? Shravana, Manana, contemplation, reflection, now plan of action and application. Those 2 are 5th one. Not only plan, execute. That is 5th one. And 6th one? Speak it. Yeah. Like right now I am seeing our Pitambar Govind Prabhu. He and his good wife, morning, daily 4:30, 5:30, 1 hour they are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. They separately study, 45 minutes, and then they come together and he tells her what he studied. He is studying 7th canto. She is studying 1st canto. So they revise from the notebook. It's only a matter of time you will see. If they do this for 1 or 2 years, what kind of rock-like conviction they will develop. You will see that. Anybody who does it. I've seen steadily, though I told him, Gaurang Prabhu makes notes like this only. Similar notes he makes now. And they're swallowing many purports. They're remembering. And that will visibly show up in their conviction, in their execution of services, in their confidence in Krishna consciousness. For a period of time it will show up like this. And now, because the Shravanam has started now. Now they are doing Mananam now. Correct now? Now, and the third step, what I said? Contemplation. Now, I have not told them, but in case they contemplate, which means, deepen your understanding by asking questions. Right now, the knowledge and understanding is coming, and it will become deeply understood when you ask questions and compare and all those things when you do. Whenever I read, I take a lot of time to read the Bhagavatam purports because sometimes I am stuck in 2-3 pages for 1 hour also. That is because when you contemplate and ask questions, and then you go to different sections to check whether, how to understand this one. That is how my study sometimes becomes difficult. But it's very good, the 3rd and 4th steps, contemplation and reflection. And then the application is most important. Those people who apply, they can easily see the hand of Krishna in everyday life. Those people who apply the Shastric truths. And they will also be able to decode the things in the world and be able to relate it to Krishna consciousness. Because that solely depends on our application. Correct, no? So application. What is the last one? Preaching. Speaking it to three, at least 3 people.
Plan of action is where? Before, okay.
Fifth one. Plan of action and execution. That is step 5. Step 4 is reflection. Reflection means flashback. How is this knowledge relevant to my life? See, Brahmacharya class we had 3 days. 1 to 3 we were having. So you were telling, oh Prabhu, what you are telling, this I can see in one of the situations which I came across, the same knowledge at the time, you were learning. Correct, no? When you can relate with your life, that is the step number 4. And then fifth one is, at that time you repent that, now I understand that Shastras say we should behave like this, but I was behaving in an erratic way. Now I would like to modify. So what is my plan of action? Today onwards I will say, I will glorify in public, correct in private. That's one example I am saying. Or I will give appreciation first before giving any feedback. Or I will listen first before judging. So that's a realization you get. When you are, then you make a plan of action and application. When you apply, then many Krishna in the heart as super soul, he will give a lot of support after that. And then when you speak it, it becomes embedded in the mind forever. You will not forget it. Like I am speaking this Japa talks since 2005. In 2005 I started this. That time it was audio. Almost every day I speak. Wherever I go, short 2 minutes, 3 minutes I used to speak. Now it has become too long now. It has become sometimes 10, 12 minutes sometimes. Those days I used to speak 3, 4 minutes. Because by speaking it, your contemplation increases. When you are speaking it, when you are going, coming, the mind becomes, there is a bubble of Shastric thought around your mind. Chaitanya Prabhu is like that, you see, no? Anytime you catch Chaitanya Prabhu, you squeeze him, some Shastra will come out. Immediately. Because he is writing a lot. He is reading, writing, speaking, to contemplation. So then where is the place for negative contemplation? There is no possibility. So whether we are grihasthas or brahmacharis, whoever we should increase this 6 steps thing in our life. So first thing I told you, out of sight, out of mind. Second thing I told you, what is the first engagement I said? Keep yourself busy with some seva. Take so much service that, like for example, 2 brahmacharis had one tussle one day. But they wanted to quarrel, but they had no time because they both have to go for giving classes. They probably will continue tomorrow. He ran for his program, he ran for his program. Next day they forgot to quarrel because there is no time only. Correct, no? So we should not give, that's what I tell you, is don't give any time. Like one husband-wife was telling, they were putting a book table, they were displaying the books regularly. I asked her, how you are inspired to do this? They said, if you are at home, we quarrel. But if we come and distribute books, we say something nice. Correct? Because they got a good engagement. Correct? When you engage in service, there is no, you want to quarrel, quarreling tendency may be there, but there is no time in that. That was the second point. Keeping ourselves busy. Sometimes people become unhappy that, I was overloaded with service. Sometimes better to have overload than underload. Because in the underload, Maya squeeze and comes in. That was the second point. The third point was this one. Shloka. Yeah, memorizing shloka and, keep repeating the shlokas, correct? And then Vaishnava songs. Shloka and Vaishnava songs can put in third category, correct? And the fourth one is how do we read Prabhupada purports? Prabhupada purports are more important than the translations also. Because translation is just verse translation. We can't understand it on our own unless Acharya throws light on it. We can't understand on our own. So the purports from there, the real secret of Bhagavatam is in Prabhupada purports. We have to capture the vital points and do the 6-step process. Then it is clear, no? Any other question? So give the mic to him. Yeah.
Guruji, you were mentioning in your class today in the question answer about how there is gross and also there is subtle sex.
Correct.
And you were saying that the second one is puja la pratishtha. So I was curious, what is the relationship between like subtle sex kind of tendency and puja la pratishtha? What is it related?
Oh, there is a direct connection. For example, Prabhupada says when Kshatriyas come back from the war, their wives would praise them for their chivalrous nature. And Kshatriyas need that encouragement for them to go on and on with their kingship. Similarly, Kshatriya kings would appoint some Suta Magadha Bandi and people like that. The Bhagavatam you will find that. And they would praise the lineage of the kings, the Vamsh in which they have come. And they will also make a list of the king's activities and tell them through songs. They will make songs and praise their glories. And he will give them compensation, some gifts and other things he will give. So Prabhupada says here, Kshatriya needs such glorification of his charity and activities for him to go on doing good activities in the world. He needs that. Kshatriya needs that. One should not think, why does he need to be pampered? One shouldn't say like that. Because they are praising him for virtuous deeds in alignment with dharma. So that's not wrong. What they are doing is it's good for the king, and also the world also comes to know how wonderful deeds this king is doing. They feel very happy to be under his shelter also. So now this is puja, for example. Similarly, love means expectation of gift. Now, one thing is to be praised by somebody, but to be praised by a woman is more pleasing than to imagine if a young beautiful girl comes and says, "Oh, you did so wonderfully," or another boy comes and tells you, "You did wonderfully." There's a difference. That is why the subtle sex eventually comes as gross sex, like that. Similarly, like love means, receiving some gifts. I achieved something and I should be given some gift. I deserve a gift. I should be given, and expecting like that kind of thing. Now, in one's life you will see, anybody purchases anything, they are purchasing for somebody. You saw a new model, mobile, or you saw a beautiful necklace. A man will purchase it for his wife or somebody and go and give. And then he has some expectation of affection from them. Then any commodity he gets. Or if a man is going and presenting a paper at a conference, or is receiving some award, he knows that this will help me to increase my wife's affection and respect for me. You will see all the sports games. As soon as a man wins, what is the first thing they will do? You've seen that?
They will, I guess, reach out to their...
Oh, when they come running out, there will be a big embrace, kiss, everything. That also video man shows. You've seen that, no? Yeah, like if you see elephant puts his tongue and tears down a branch and then look around. And whom is he looking for? He's looking for female. I am doing, and then when the female is around, then he will put his trunk around the tree trunk with lot of effort, like that he will do. Then he will tell and ask, now what do you say? That's a direct connection. Achievement and sex have a direct connection. Similarly, scientists have found out an eagle, for example, a female eagle, will only agree to marry a male eagle under one condition. You know what the condition? She will take a twig, like a stick twig from the tree, and go up. And the male eagle is flying here, she is flying here. She will drop it. And this fellow should zoom, like that he should go, pick it up and go and give it back to her. And she will again go somewhere else. And he has to keep watch also where she is going. And then she will drop in another place. Zoom, like that he will go and give it. 3 times when she does, then the eagle will agree to marry. He has to prove. That means achievement and sex are directly connected. His own Ranand Maharaj said he was in Gitanagari, sitting under a tree. In the night he saw a lot of glowworms in the tree. And Maharaj was glorifying. Then Ekavir Prabhu said, Maharaj, you know what are these glowing glowworms? He said they are male glowworms. And they have to exert a lot to exhibit light the night. When they do that much time only, the light will glow. After that, light becomes dim. Again, some of them are expert to glow for a long time. And then he said, and Maharaj asked, really? They have to exert to show light? I didn't know that, Maharaj said. Maharaj, they are exerting to show this to female glowworms. He said. Maharaj said, I didn't know this secret. Maharaj said, Oh, I was peacefully sitting about to chant, you brought such another thing in my mind, he said. So, in this way you will find every jiva, whether human or animal or bird, their exertion, achievement is very much connected to sex life. You will see that. From subtle to gross. Puja, love, patishta, prestige, image, how are my looks, what are my achievements, accolades, what others are thinking about it, especially what females are thinking about it. Like one boy used to play guitar in one of the NITs, he used to play. So our brahmachari had told him that, now that you have become a 8-rounder devotee, no need to play guitar and you for Karmi songs and all, he was telling like that. He was telling. So that boy came and asked me that, Prabhu, Krishna conscious devotee, can't they play guitar? I said, he can play. You can play for camps and all, you can play. Then he said, when I go to the stage and play guitar, I always want to know what are those 2-3 girls in my class talking about me. I wish somebody records and shows me what they. That means, our performance is very much connected to opposite sex. So one boy asked his Ranath Maharaj in a Prerna festival, Maharaj, behind every great man, there is always a woman. Some great woman to whom he is attracted to because of which he is doing. So who is that woman behind you? Like that he asked Maharaj. Maharaj said, that is Srimati Radharani, he said. Maharaj said that answer. So those who are brahmachari sannyasis, they can go on and on for their whole life, provided with a growing number of years, they have to develop a deep shelter of Antaranga Shakti. Because the Antaranga Shakti shelter can help them surpass sex desire. They can go beyond the mundane sex desire. Without that understanding of Antaranga Shakti's personality, Srimati Radharani's personality, it may be very difficult for one to artificially renounce the world. Yeah, that's why we say, Shri Guru Charane Rati. That Rati, one meaning of Rati is intense attachment to Guru's instruction. Another meaning of Rati is intense attachment to sex life. That is also called Rati. So both are used in the same word is used for both. As much a man is attached to sex life, equally or little more than that is to be attached to Guru's Vani. Then he can say no to that. Makes sense, no? Yeah. What is that? Yeah.
Yes. This is spiritual achievements.
Yeah.
Somebody gets, that is under Antaranga Shakti, the driving force is like that.
Yeah, correct.
They're saying that because
Antaranga Shakti actually gives a safe and very secure shelter by which one will not be attracted to, the gross sex or subtle sex. One can, like for example, there are gurus who achieve a lot of things they do, but how they don't become proud? Because they are sheltered properly in Antaranga Shakti. They do a lot, but they always feel that, I have done nothing. It's all Krishna's grace. So Antaranga Shakti is personified Seva Bhava, Srimati Radharani. Her shelter one gets. Then that rasa between Radha and Krishna and the gopis and Krishna, one is sheltered in that, then nothing of this world can attract them. Right. What was your question? Yeah.
Prabhu, so we hear that Mahaprabhu and Radha Pandit, they would relish these pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj.
And Prahlad, correct. Because Dhruva, Mahaprabhu liked Dhruva's determination and fixity on Guru's instruction and never giving up. Correct, no? Similarly, Prahlada's pure devotion. Mahaprabhu's emphasis about Prahlada is his Shuddha Bhakti, he says, Yadidas Sasime Kaman Varam Samvara Darshava Kamanam Hridi Asamroham Bhavatas Tulnevaram. That was he says, I have no desire. You are master, I am servant, I simply want to love and serve you. This Mahaprabhu appreciated. Anya Vilashita Shunya. So purity of Prahlada's worship and determination of Dhruva Sadhana. That's why Mahaprabhu repeatedly we hear this. Yeah.
Yes, that was my question. Why did he relish Dhruva Maharaj so much?
This is the reason. That means even we have begun spiritual life, but we should not slacken. We should go with the same determination on and on. Like there is a song, Ulysses, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Or when going gets tough, the tough get going. But keep on going. You will see that people like Prahlad or Pandavas, when it got tougher and tougher, they never gave up. And then Lord becomes Yatantascha Dridam Prata, he says, That's very inspiring. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
My question is, I don't know how to put it, but in conversation between Suniti and Dhruva, she told three truths to Dhruva Maharaj, like you were a great grandfather, Brahma.
Correct.
So he also achieved the power of creation.
Correct.
Second thing, Swayambhu Manu, he also achieved the favor to Lord.
Yes.
And she was telling me that you should go and search Lord. In that context, she told one more thing, that if you envy your mother Suruchi, what will happen? You will incur sin. It is not good for you.
You should give up the malice.
Yeah, give us the money.
Correct.
So, question is that, Prabhuji, is it that the glories of Vedic India was so great that even she did not go to Gurukul? But Prabhupada is right, she is a brother Pradarshak Guru for Prabhupada.
Correct.
So what was the glory during that time that mothers, ordinary mother, because she was totally neglected by king also, she said that he is...
She was a devotee. Prabhupada says Suniti is the great mother of a great devotee, as the Prabhupada writes. So Dhruva was a great devotee. And Suniti, see the very name suggests. There is Suniti, Ruchi. So Ruchi means she was beautiful, whereas she was not a Gunavati. You know, the Yukta Vairagya people, they have our, what's his name? The devotee has made the video, no? Dhruva video. He's in Bhubaneswar IIT, no? What is his name? Niramarigu. So how they have made it in the beginning, they have very nicely shown it. In just 1 minute they have shown it. What they have shown? Suniti is calling Dhruva, my dear child, tomorrow when you become the king, you should rule the kingdom in such a manner. You should be godly and you should always benefit the people, like a Radheshyam, saintly. So, and you should be a lover of God, she says. You should love God, and on behalf of God, you should rule the world. And then Dhruva says, yes, mother, yes, mother. This is what I exactly love the most, mother, like he says. As a small boy, she is feeding him the beautiful devotional scripts she was giving him. And then immediately he changes the scene where Suruchi is sitting in a dressing room and she's putting a necklace and looking in the mirror how I am looking like. And then the king is coming and standing behind her. And then she's asking, oh my dear king, this necklace is so beautiful, she says. And what the king is saying, it naturally looks beautiful because the person wearing it is very beautiful. Like that he says. Who? The king says. The king Uttanapad says. And then she is saying, thank you, but just as you have given me this necklace exclusively for me, please make sure that whatever you give me exclusively, don't give it to others, like that she says. So they have shown very beautifully, within a minute they have shown the mentality of Suniti versus Suruchi. Suruchi is all the time decorating herself to impress the wife, to impress the husband and keep him under her control. Whereas Suniti, she is always aligned with God's will. She is teaching the child how you should be aligned with Krishna. Krishna is the shelter of everybody. Even today, you will find also, there are many women, when the women are growing, it's not that women only grown in good families will become good. Sometimes by dint of, like yesterday we were in one of the programs we were doing, a man was telling, I have seen my father, how he suffered due to bad habits and everything. So then they don't take to bad habits also. There are people like that. That's why the free will matters the most. So in the case of Dhruva, fortunately his mother was a devotee and he also became a devotee. But it is not that like Hiranyakashipu, his son became such a great devotee. He didn't associate with his father. He said associated with saintly persons. Correct, no? There are many examples where the family didn't support somebody, but they became great devotees also. So ultimately every individual jiva can be inclined to Krishna consciousness or not inclined. It's ultimately, especially women are very saintly, that family is a very fortunate family because the in-laws, the son, the husband, everybody benefits from that. Like one Suniti changed 3 people. Because of her influence, Dhruva became a pure devotee. And then Uttanapad lamented later on that, my son went to forest, I am such a fool. My wife Suniti, she is so tolerant. Seeing her tolerance, he developed Vairagya. Not only that, when Dhruva was returning back, Suniti invited Suruchi, come let's sit in the same palanquin and go together and receive Dhruva. And Suruchi accepted. Suruchi also came. Because we may not understand why it's important. Because if Suniti went alone to bring Dhruva, the whole kingdom will gossip. They will say, Dekho, kya ho gaya? Suruchi was envious, abhi dekho kya hone wala, things like that. But when Suniti is taking Suruchi with her in the same palanquin, everybody's mouth is shut. Hare, these two queens have become united friends. And both are blessing the child. How intelligent she is. And seeing that, Suruchi also embraced Dhruva just like her own son. Ayushman Baba, she blessed him also. So one Suniti changed 3 people. So this is a very great learning for actually every Bahu who comes to your home. She can change in-laws, she can change husband, she can change her children. She has the power. That's why it is said the hand that moves the cradle can make or break a home. It is said. That is one of the reasons why I was telling Mataji that we should have a program for Bahus. Correct now? Because they will not leave Boston, they will stay in Boston. And in Pune, you can contact Igal Pre Mataji. She has made a big list of, they are trying to get in touch with 200, 300 Bahus in Pune. Hopefully after that 100 will become devotees. If they are trained to be like Suniti, the world will be a much better place, correct now? Because if the women are not trained, their attention will go to decorating themselves, dressing themselves and asking husband, can you get a bigger job, better job, fatter salary, and then let's go on a European tour. And husband's head is spinning, you don't know how to spend so much. So then they are going to become materialistic if they are not given a spiritual direction. Because women generally need direction. If husband is giving a spiritual direction, they go in spiritual line. Husband gives materialistic direction, they go in materialistic line. If nobody gives any direction, materialistic. No direction is default direction, is what in the material world? Materialistic. So we have to change the default by designing the direction, by giving the training. Yeah.
So I need to understand when we say somebody from pure devotee,
Yes.
in case of Dhruva Maharaj.
Yeah.
So in fact, the minute independence we say,
Yeah.
minute independence.
Yeah.
So becoming pure devotee also one can use his minute independence. Like
Correct.
Dhruva was very fighting and mercilessly killing those yaksha.
See, after becoming a pure devotee, why did he behave like that? Some people ask this question. And he developed hatred for the yakshas. That is due to excessive attachment to his brother, Uttama. Prabhupada writes that. Because attachment and aversion are two sides of the same coin. So, therefore, Swayambhu Manu corrected him. He said, don't develop too much attachment to brother. He is supposed to leave, has left. And then don't become averse to this thing. That is for us. The Bhagavatam has mentioned the past time because pure devotees like Dhruva are orchestrated by the Lord like a play toy. Lord uses such devotees like Brahma or Dhruva. Lord uses them to teach the world some lessons. We can learn, even if you become advanced devotee, be very careful, we can become victim of attachment and aversion. That's the lesson for us. We should not think that maybe Dhruva had some lacuna. We should not think like that. We should always think that Dhruva is a pure devotee and Lord made him do this yaksha pastime for me. That's the ideal way of understanding.
Not only the Suruchi and Uttama, the fire forest.
That is due to destiny. Somebody may say, now she has become rectified, she has given up malice, and why should they suffer? But if something is in destiny, Uttama's dying also is already destined. Certain karmic reactions are called drida, they cannot be changed. They will take their own course. But because she has become purified, after being burnt in that Davagni or whatever, she will not have to take birth again. Because she has given up the malice to Dhruva. Correct, already. So, is her getting burned connected to her earlier malice for Dhruva? Somebody may ask. Correct. But now that malice is gone now. But the destiny takes its course. Like once some 4-5 devotees died in a plane crash in the Muktinath. His Holiness Dhanat Maharaj was telling a very nice point. He said that there is a material karmic root. and there is a spiritual route. So Krishna protects the spiritual part, that whatever bhakti they read, that will never be lost. And then the material karmic route, if in the previous life they have done some terrible sins like killing cow and things like that, they have to suffer at least in one life. If they have done a lot, Krishna gives only token punishment. So in this life that may take result may come that they will have to leave the body in this way. But their spiritual advancement and stature, that will never be diminished. Maharaj explained that when he spoke after that incident.
Is it mentioned about Suruchi's becoming pure devotee or mentioned something?
Oh, it is mentioned that she received Dhruva without any malice. She embraced the child like her own child, that is mentioned. After that there is no mention. Actually we have to read Vishnu Puran and Padma Puran. That there is more elaborate than Bhagavatam. You can check it, get more details. One last question. Yes.
I wanted to ask about impurities you were mentioning. So
Different impurities I was telling. Yeah.
So specifically.
Actually, in the previous years, I never knew that even hankering is impurity. I never knew that. Actually, yeah, hankering is a very big impurity. If something is coming of its own, you accept. If it doesn't come, don't hanker for it. So kankshati, we say, no? So shochati and kankshati both are big impurities because they create a muddy pool of water-like consciousness in the chitta. So the Bhagavatam explains these things that our heart is like a lake, and the lake becomes muddy by these kind of impurities, which I said, hankering, lamentation, pride, depression, all these things. Yeah, go ahead.
So Prabhu, when we are to keep up with our profession, when we have to acquire material knowledge, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes in his song Vidya Vilasveda, it certainly has that infatuating potency. I can see it in myself. Really, the mind gets carried away with it.
Correct.
While preparing for new jobs,
Yes,
job interviews. So,
yes.
how do we deal with the material energy in such a way that we don't get infatuated by this material knowledge?
Right.
As a student, I was a studious fellow, and now I can see some of those the acquisition of material knowledge does certainly captivate my mind. How do I?
Oh, that is due to intellectual titillation. Like, one boy was telling me, Prabhu, you all are absorbed in temple activities. I am absorbed in lab activities. And I am also in Samadhi. You are in Samadhi in temple, I am in Samadhi in the lab. Because I publish papers. I do doctorate research, postdoctorate. And he said, it is so absorbing, he said, that I forget the outside world. I said, yes, but it is still mundane. Because it's on an intellectual platform. Correct, no? One day when you die, Prabhupada says you can become a rat in the same lab, He says that. Whereas spiritual absorption is different because it is in relation to God. And I told him, your absorption is mundane like Einstein's absorption like that. So, at least we should understand this point, that this intellectual titillation, which is very fascinating, because I have a tendency to get carried away by that. Therefore, I should use it in a measured way. For example, I do scrolling, Instagram. Suddenly I find 4 hours are gone. That means I am becoming a slave of scrolling habit. Then I should put an alarm clock. I will only scroll half an hour. Alarm clock. Then immediately I switch off the mobile and keep it in the locker and lock it up. Correct? Now you put some limit. It's called boundaries. Set some boundaries. That's one thing we can do. And another thing is taking up some service forces us to put boundaries. One example I tell you. Nowadays I am doing 20 minutes Chaitanya Leela, 20 minutes Krishna Leela daily. 400-500 people come. So because I am obliged to them, I promised them that I am going to do it daily. So I cannot escape it. I forced myself because if I am not doing this, I am likely to be, doing other activities. Correct? So positive spiritual activities, include it in your day in such a way that you cannot escape it. Right? Then the intellectual absorption will be reduced. Then we will not be titillated too much in that. So those who are doing doctorate and postdoctorate like he is doing, they have to deal with so much of intellectual stuff, and writing papers, publishing in the magazines, everything they have to do. But tomorrow, say he becomes a professor in an institute, if he takes up preaching, he and his wife, they take up preaching to students, and then he starts studying Bhagavatam deeply and CC deeply and giving classes everything, then he will be able to manage his intellectual part. Because that will gradually over a period of time go to the background. Brahma's pastime should be read. Atapite deva padambujadvaya. So he was actually intellectual for personality. Who? Brahma. His whole body is made of intelligence. So therefore he says by intellectual analysis one will not be able to understand the Lord. Only by that. That's why one has to surrender. Prasada lesha nugrihita evahi. He says, one drop of mercy we need. He says that. So this realization will dawn in our hearts over a period of time. But as I said, just one or two things we can do. Draw boundaries and also forcibly take some spiritual duty. Now I was so inspired yesterday to see that many of you are having reading groups. It's a very nice thing. So only one more thing you all have to do is, now 3 people, 4 people are coming. Now we have to advertise, and then do more new programs and keep on adding more people. And then more the merrier, more people come. Because nowadays many people are convenient with online than coming offline. The commuting and all becomes difficult. So every person attending your online, you should tell them, please bring 3-4 of your friends and add them to this group. It's called Swabandhu Mandal. People in the neighborhood of your house, people, colleagues in the office, or your blood relatives in America, add them. 5 of you bring 5 each. It becomes how much? No, 30, including this 5. Yeah, correct? Isn't it? So then you get a good number after that. It goes by word of mouth. Another thing is consistency. Like I am doing daily. Morning, evening I am doing. So many people come by word of mouth. The registered people will be 1,500, 2,000, but only 500, 600 will come daily. And that is a trend everywhere. So always it's better to register a good number of people, and then we can do that. So this will absorb us. Our intellectual mindset will gradually, Krishna will purify it in such a way that we will develop taste for direct devotion. In ISKCON, many IITians, NITians have this question, Prabhuji, I am not able to go beyond, I am stuck in the intellectual platform. How to take a leap to bhakti? And that's a very famous question. You can ask Isula Prabhupada Maharaj. He has answered it. Because Prabhupada Maharaj...
He does, he can remember the past times and...
Oh, it's very good.
If he does, he telling the time, he looks at God, it's 45 minutes, 1 hour.
Really? He's saying you have one special ability to remember past times and recollect. That will substitute your intellectual.
Once he gives class, he is gone.
No, one of the things could be, his mind, his intelligence will be like a, if you put an ink pen on a blotting paper. So whatever you put, that expands. That's why you have to, the first step you do in picking, that's very important, what you pick to contemplate. Because whatever you pick, that's going to be expanded, correct? Nice, yeah.
What was the answer to by Prabhupada Maharaj?
No, actually the bhakti is grace of Krishna. So we have to do all that is necessary to attract his glance and grace. After that, he only can uplift us. Ultimately, because bhakti is not achieved, it is awarded. So therefore we have to find out what all I can do in my life. Because Krishna is not a person who can be, he is not a kid that you can show a lollipop and attract. Because he has everything. So then we have to work on those attitudes which will be pleasing to him. Then he will award, correct? Yeah. So you all can carry on. I will answer 2 questions here. Because they have put in, are they available here? Are they hearing?
Yeah.
The YouTube live just...
No, they're hearing.
Huh?
They just send me message, they're hearing.
They're hearing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just actually because there is no more battery. Yeah, the battery. This is going on. I don't know what this is. Yeah, that's that.
Those who have to go can carry on. I will just answer this and I will conclude this one. Just as Dhruva was affected by the vikara caused by Suruchi and consequently developed feelings of envy and desire, similarly, when we observe others influenced by the vikara of competitive behavior to be glorified, we can sense its negative impact. We understand that such tendencies are not beneficial. My humble question is, How can we protect ourselves from being affected by these vikaras and remain steady in our devotional consciousness by being associating with them even for short time? Good, very deep and very important question. Yeah. You see, if you are desiring...
YouTube got stopped on phone.
Okay. If you are desiring to make progress, some great progress, or I become achiever, that is not as bad as envying, developing feelings of envy by observing others. Because what is the difference between the two? When you only want to progress, that is called jealousy. Jealousy means what? Hey, so-and-so is doing so well, I also want to do. Hey, you have a Mercedes Benz, I also want a Mercedes Benz. That is not as bad as, how this fool can have a Mercedes Benz? That's what the problem was Duryodhana. Duryodhana was telling that how can Pandavas have one Indraprastha like this? And Shakuni said, we can do something by which you can also get gifts. But he said, that's not the point, uncle. How can anyone in this world be peaceful by seeing his enemies prosper? He said. So therefore envy is very deadly, and one has to abandon that envy. But desire to achieve is there in all the conditions. So that's a fruity mentality, we call it. That is also something which can be purified in Nishkama Karma Yoga. So what a person with intense desire to achieve, what he should do? He should do some services silently, secretly, behind the scene, with nobody watching, and nobody should come to know. By rendering such services, like Radheshyamdas Thakur, he went and he was cleaning stolen urine of Guru. Many days he was doing it, and Guru was surprised, who is this fellow doing it? One day he found out. Correct? So doing services like that, without expecting anything in return. And Prabhupada also, one of the days he sat, nobody came, it was a rainy day, and he gave a talk, and the talk turned out to become the introduction to Bhagavad Gita. Correct? So Prabhupada, whether you make him a world acharya, he will speak. If you don't make him also, he will speak. So we have to cultivate the do some service without being noticed, and that will gradually, that's one of the ways the Nishkama can be performed. Another thing, those people who are very fruitive, they think about me, my success, my achievement, and the world should applaud. So what they can do, they can also every day make it a point to give some 5 compliments to other devotees. Oh, Prabhu, you did your Guru Puja so beautifully, Chaitra Baba did. Oh, the ladies are decorated so beautifully today. Like this, if you give some few compliments to others, we can take our mind away from ourselves, selfish thoughts about oneself. And also, when we have a strong propensity to become achiever, then we should study the Bhagavad Gita about the Karma Yoga chapter. You learn about the Karmanaivahi Samsiddhim Astito Janakadeha Loka Sangraham Evapi Sampashyan Kartumarasi. So from there you can read the 3rd, 4th, 5th chapters Bhagavad Gita. You learn a lot about 2 things. Attachment to service, attachment to fruits of the service. For example, somebody makes gulab jamun. After that he will go to the prasadam hall and ask everybody, Prabhuji, how was gulab jamun? Prabhuji, such a soft and beautiful. Thank you, Prabhuji. Humne banaya. That means he is attached to the fruits of his service. And there are people who have got praises. Now they are not after the praises. He will go to the kitchen and make gulab jamun and leave it and go. He doesn't wait to receive the appreciation. So he is attached only to that service. You tell him, Prabhuji, you don't make gulab jamun today, we have another devotee coming. He says, no, I will only do it. I have been doing it for last 10 years, Prabhu. Why you call somebody else without asking me? Some people are attached to the service. Yeah. So first fellow was attached to service and then fruits. Second person was attached only to service, but not the fruits like that. Then the 3rd stage comes where a person says, Prabhuji, I am just coming to temple to serve Gopi Vallabha. Whatever service you want, tell me to wash toilets, I will do it. Tell me to preach, I will do it. So he is neither attached to service nor attached to fruits. At that time, that ambitious nature of fruity mentality will go away. At that time. So we can read 18.24. That verse talks about fruity mentality. Bahulayasam, kamepsuna, sa ahankarena. These words are used. Ahankar means I am the doer. Kamepsuna means fruity mindset. And bahulayasam means enormous hard work they do to prove their greatness. All these things. So this can be overcome and with the strong desire. And with regards to envy, that envy, in the spiritual world also there is competition. Prabhupada says, one gopi thinks, hey, she has made such a beautiful garland for the divine couple. I am going to go to her and learn from her. So that I can also make a nice garland as good as her, so that divine couple will be satisfied. Otherwise my current method of making garland is not so great. Like that she thinks. So in the spiritual world nobody condemns others' desire, others' services. Nobody condemns others' services. Because when you condemn, then the envy arises. Whereas you can always be inspired by others and learn from them, praise them. This kind of tendencies are there in spiritual world also, which is not wrong. In this way, by doing like this, gradually envy can be given up. I have one seminar on overcoming fault finding and learning to see good in others. Slate. If you put in YouTube, Slate, you put overcoming fault finding, and another one is learning to see good. These two state seminars, they will give a lot of valuable notes on, giving up this desire and envy. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki.